I'm gonna be in the ring different. Like I say to him in Spanish, he needs 20 like him to give me a little problems.
Excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch.
Canelo Alvarez means to the Mexican fans what Floyd Money Mayweather meant for black people.
During a live press event, Canelo Alvarez sent a strong message to Terence Crawford, saying he was sure he would beat him. Canelo explained that his background and abilities were far better, and that he had an edge because of the weight difference. He stressed that Crawford, being from a much lighter division, wouldn't be a serious threat. Canelo confidently said that his size, strength, and ring knowledge would help him win, and saw the fight as a chance to show he's still one of boxing's top fighters.
Bud Crawford,
Yeah.
just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
You know, everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And you know, like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 weights class less than me. But if the money is right, why not? Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlooking any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we'll see.
As the current undisputed super middleweight champion, Canelo Alvarez has shown great strength, sharp timing, and smart defense throughout his career. He controls fights well and sets the tone, making him a top name in his division. On the flip side, Crawford is praised for his quickness, flexibility, and cleverness in the ring. Having earned undisputed titles in several divisions, he switches between right and left-handed styles with ease and uses his sharp mind to beat opponents. This matchup between Canelo's power and Crawford's speed promises an exciting showdown. That could be a major moment in boxing.
When Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Kobe. Then he moved up again and he lost to Biff. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was just an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume, right? But yeah, there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, you know, all-time light heavyweight. It's a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up. Okay, and Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Crawford. Let's just keep it a big.
Coach Joel Diaz talked about how size plays a huge part in boxing, especially when smaller fighters move up to face naturally bigger ones. He said one hard punch from a larger opponent can change everything, especially if they're used to heavier fights. Diaz's view is important when looking at the Canelo versus Crawford matchup. Though Crawford is highly skilled and flexible, Diaz warns that jumping to divisions to fight someone like Alvarez is risky. Canelo's size, strength, and experience against bigger men give him a real advantage. Even though Crawford is fast and technical, Diaz says that might not be enough when dealing with stronger punches.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo.
Canelo Alvarez's journey to greatness has been built on his choice to fight top names in many weight divisions. His wins over larger fighters have helped him earn a name as a tough and smart champion. Canelo's importance to Mexican fans is like the respect Floyd Mayweather Jr. gets from black supporters. Born in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Canelo's rise from a poor background means a lot to his followers. His success reflects the dreams of many Mexicans and stands for hard work and national pride.
Canelo is beating these guys with all 5 layers of defense. Number 1, feet. Number 2, elbows, hands, shoulders, and the mind. This is exactly how both of those guys got to the highest level of boxing supremacy. Canelo Alvarez means to the Mexican fans what Floyd Money Mayweather meant for black people. 50 wins in boxing, no losses, no draws. And follow for more.
Sean Porter, who once held the welterweight title and fought Crawford, shared doubts about Crawford being able to take Canelo's punches. Porter agrees Crawford is tough, but worries that facing a naturally heavier and stronger boxer like Canelo is a different kind of test. He pointed out that the weight difference could really affect things, and Crawford may need to rely more on movement and avoid standing toe-to-toe. Though Crawford has handled powerful welterweights before, going up to super middleweight is a whole new level. Porter's view shows how complex this fight is and why strategy will be key when facing someone as dangerous as Canelo.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So
promoter Eddie Hearn called the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford a strange one, mostly because of the big weight gap. Crawford, who usually fights in the welterweight and junior middleweight divisions, is jumping up to take on Canelo, a solid super middleweight. Hearn said that on fight night, Canelo might weigh close to 185 to 190 pounds, while Crawford could be around 168 to 170, showing a big size and power edge for the Mexican star. Even with Crawford's amazing skills and history making titles, Hearn doubts he can handle the size difference. He even said that if Canelo wins, it may not count as much because the weight gap is so large.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35, 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like, he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement. If you're Terence Crawford in that fight, the last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him. Yeah, you know.
Boxing expert Dan Rafael took a close look at the upcoming fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, set for September 12, 2025, in Las Vegas. He said this match is a huge deal, with 2 of boxing's top stars clashing. Crawford's move up to super middleweight shows his confidence and big ambitions. Rafael mentioned that while Crawford's skills and smart style are well known, fighting at 168 pounds brings new challenges. On the other hand, Canelo's strength and smarts in this division make him tough to beat. This fight isn't just about skill, it's about legacy. A win for Crawford would make him a 5-division champ. Beating Crawford would add more to Canelo's legacy. Fans are excited, and Rafael's breakdown shows how important this fight is and what it could mean for boxing's future.
What's your message to fighters who will fight you in the future? Obviously not Crawford, but with that kind of mindset, they just want to last the distance.
That's a mediocre mind. That's a mediocre mind because they come just to survive, to go to the 12th round. That's a mediocre mind. You need to put a good fight there and put great show. You know what I mean?
Do you think Crawford will employ the same tactics to try and box?
I hope not. I hope not, because the people deserve a good fight.
What do you make of the Crawford fight next?
Huh?
How excited are you for the Crawford fight?
I'm excited. I'm gonna enjoy this win and then we think that's do it.
What did you think of Ryan Garcia's performance yesterday?
Boxing great Roy Jones Jr. said the result of the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford depends on how smart Canelo is in the ring. Jones warned that if Canelo doesn't take Crawford seriously or changes his game plan, he might lose. He stressed that Canelo needs to use his size and strength wisely, while still respecting Crawford's skills. Jones added that Crawford is smart and adjusts fast, so any mistake could cost Canelo to win. Canelo has to be careful and stick to a solid strategy throughout the fight.
This is Jonathan Agioff here for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by, does he need any introduction, Hall of Fame legend Roy Jones Jr. here in the UK. There's a few questions about the US guys. Obviously, Tank and Lamont Roach, we saw the first fight. Lamont Roach shot the world. What do you think happens in a rematch if they fight?
I think he shocked the world again. But the only thing different this time is Tank will come with a different attitude, different personality, different motivation. And I think Roach will do good again. But I think Tank will be more dominant this time.
And obviously we know if Canelo wins against William Skull, he will fight Terence Crawford in September. Who would you favour in that fight?
You know, it's a hard one to call. And I'm going to tell you why it's hard to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man, he can box, and I'll box Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and show that he really wants to go out and prove whether he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo come to the dance.
Edgar Berlanga has shared his doubts about the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, calling it unfair because of the big size difference. While he praised Crawford's talent and boxing IQ, Berlanga pointed out that Canelo's natural size at super middleweight could decide the outcome. He said Crawford is mentally stronger and better than Jermall Charlo, Canelo's last opponent, but questioned whether that would be enough to handle Canelo's physical edge. Berlanga admitted that if Crawford was naturally 168 pounds or if Canelo was closer to 147, it would be a more even match. Still, he said he respects Crawford, calling him one of the best, and believes he could win if he were bigger. The fight is exciting because of the money and history, but Berlanga warned that the size gap might affect how fair or close the fight really is.
My good friend, my brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better, you know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't count him out, you know what I'm saying?
Ryan Garcia firmly believes that Canelo Alvarez will beat Terence Crawford in their super fight, pointing to Canelo's size and boxing style as key reasons. Garcia said that weight divisions exist for a reason and didn't think Crawford looked strong enough in his last fight against Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds. He said Crawford couldn't beat Canelo, noting that Madrimov wasn't even big. Yet Crawford didn't shine. According to Garcia, Canelo has mastered his ring craft and always knows what's going on. Many others agree that the size and experience difference will play a big part. Even though he praised Crawford's skills, Garcia still picked Canelo to win due to his strength and sharp boxing mind.
Ago, you heard what Terence Bud Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'd be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him test himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons the war room can get behind.
Terence Crawford has admitted that he wants to fight Canelo Alvarez both to test his skills and to earn good money. He said the match would happen when the timing is right for business. Crawford sees this fight as a way to grow his legacy while getting the big payday, since Canelo is such a big name. While some fans and experts question if his interest is mainly about money, Crawford insists it's about proving himself against the best. To him, this fight is a smart move that mixes his love of competition with business smarts, helping him achieve goals inside and outside the ring.
Canelo fight, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you're still pursuing it?
Not at all. I think business talk. With the right business come across the table, it happened. I just be talking, man. Canelo a big dude, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I believe in my abilities. He's a heavy dude, but he's not a big guy. Like, he's 5'8", I'm 5'8", you know what I mean? My arm's longer than his, So that fight would be good.